In today's video, we're going to be comparing 401ks and IRAs. So you've probably generally heard people using these terms, or maybe sometimes they just say my retirement account, and you're not really sure what they're talking about or which one they're referring to. Let's cover the details of these, compare the two different types of accounts, and then maybe help you start to determine which one could make sense for you. So starting first with similarities, 401ks and IRAs are tax advantaged retirement savings accounts. That's what they have in common. Right? So this is a place for you to save for your future retirement. Now, the main distinction between 401ks and IRAs is that a 401k is an employer-sponsored retirement account, meaning it's set up through work, right? So you get a new job, they set you up with your 401k as part of your human resources package. Whereas the IRA, that is an individual retirement account, meaning it's not associated with any employer or any other entity. So with that, employer versus non-employer, there are some key distinctions as well, right? So number one is your contribution to the 401k comes via payroll deduction, right? So you get paid, that's your gross paycheck. They go ahead and deduct however much you told them to deduct and go straight into the 401k. That's not the case, right? So an IRA contribution is not associated in any way with your payroll cycle because, again, it's not associated with your employer. If you want to make a contribution to your IRA, you got to do so from, your checking or savings account or some other source that's non-payroll related. The other big piece of that is in the 401k, many employers will match all or part of your contribution to that 401k. So it's free money, right? So you put in and they match it. Well, because the IRA is not associated with any employer, obviously it'd be nice, but there's no third party making additional contributions for your IRA on your behalf. Now, the other thing we need to discuss is contribution limits, right? So these contribution limits, the maximum you're able to contribute to each of these types of accounts, they change each year, right? So they're adjusted with inflation, so they go up in time. The key point is you can contribute much more to a 401k than you can to an IRA, right? As again, the actual limits change over time, but typically it's like 3 times more. Right? So for that reason, a lot of people are drawn to the 401k in that they can simply save more for retirement on a tax advantaged basis into the 401k. Now, if you don't have a 401k or you don't have an employer who offers that, you can still contribute to the IRA, but again, it's a much lower contribution limit. Now, I should pause here and say we've had previous videos that do a deep dive on each of these, right? 401ks, IRAs, and look at them separately. We've also done a separate video on traditional and Roth, right? So I do just want to mention these different contribution types, traditional and Roth, can apply both to 401ks and IRAs. So in terms of contribution types, really some of the same types are available on either side of the house, 401k or IRA. Now, there are some caveats to that on the 401k side in that not all 401k plans allow for Roth contributions. Some 401k plans allow for a different type of contribution than traditional or IRA. They have a post-tax non-Roth. So meaning in terms of types of contributions, traditional or Roth, largely the two are going to be similar. Again, different limits, but there could be some additional options available on the 401k depending on your plan. And lastly, let's talk about once you get the funds in the account, how are they going to be invested? So on a 401k, the main deal there is there's a finite list of options that you can choose from on your investments. Whereas on the IRA, it being an individual retirement account, there is no guidance and there is no limitation, right? So largely you can invest in whatever you want, but you got to pick it yourself. So from that standpoint, a lot of people will engage with a professional to help them decide how to invest. So that's kind of the distinction investment-wise, what that lineup is. So there are other features of these two types of plans that we didn't cover here, right? So just think about provisions from taking a loan from the account, from doing an early distribution and the exceptions to an early distribution penalty. They're all kind of different topics that we could have explored that we did not. Right? So there's certainly plenty more to educate yourself on, but this gives you the basics. Here's the thing. in all of this, sometimes people can't see the forest for the trees. They get lost in the details of the different plans and they miss the big picture. The big picture, you should be saving for retirement. The big picture is whether it's 401k or IRA, you should certainly make an educated choice, but bottom line is you should be saving for retirement. If you're wondering how much should I be saving for retirement, we have a separate video to give you guidance on that. As always, guys, if you have questions that you'd like to see answered here, please submit them in that link below and we'll get them answered here on the NextGEN Q&A series.